هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. اللهم ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا واتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. We are going over the 70 stories Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullahi alayhi has mentioned at the end of Fadail Sadaqat. Hazrat mentions the story of Waqidi, who is a Muwarrikh and a Muhaddith. He says that once the time of Eid came and my wife said to me that I can somehow control myself, but I can't control the kids. They go outside, they see the kids of the neighborhood playing and merrymaking and wearing nice clothes. They come to me running and I can't see their tears. So you have to do something, get something from somewhere. So Waqidi wrote a note. He went out, he said, okay, I'll get something. He wrote a note to his friend that Eid is here, I need some help. So his friend sent him a bag of 1,000 coins. So Waqidi was happy and he was bringing that to his house, and along the route, another friend of his sent him a note that Eid is here and there's nothing in my house and I need something, can you please help me? So he sent that bag to the third person and he was ashamed of returning home, so he went to the masjid and started praying nawafil, namaz, du'as, and he didn't come home for 2 days. Then when he came home and he said everything to his wife, she was also sabr wali, patience. He said, no problem, all right, you did good thing, you send it to your third friend, no problem. In the meantime, the first friend to whom he had written the letter, he came running to his house and with the bag in his hand, and he said, what is the story of this bag? He said, well, I wrote to you and you sent me this bag, but then another note came and I sent it to him. And he said, after you left, I wrote a note to that third person and he sent me the same bag and he came to, my own bag came to me. I said, this is my bag, I sent it to Waqidi, how did it come to me? So this is what happened. So then what they did was, let's distribute it among ourselves. So they gave 100 dirhams to Waqidi's wife and they shared out 300 among themselves. The king happened to find out about this incident, so the king sent 7,000 dirhams for them, 1,000 for the woman and 2,000 for them to share it out among themselves. So these were people who used to give preference to others over themselves. As a Shaykh Rahmatullahi alayhi then writes in another story of Abdullah ibn Ja'far radiyallahu anhu. He was the son of Hazrat Ja'far al-Tayyar and he was known as Qutbus Sakha, Sakhawat ka Minara, Qutub Minar. He was known for his generosity. Once he was passing by somewhere and he saw this nice bagh, orchard, garden, and in it was this slave who works there, he had sat down to eat, and he was eating some bread and whatever he had, curry, whatever. There was a dog with him as well. So he would eat one morsel, and another morsel he would give the dog. One morsel, another luqma to the dog. And the dog was eating with him that roti and whatever moti he was eating. So he kept on looking, and then he went to him and he said, what were you doing? He said, what do you want to know? He said, you were eating food and you were feeding the dog as well. He said, yeah, this dog has been my companion for some time, so I feed him. He said, but the dog would be okay with any food which is of lesser quality. You don't have to give him this food. He said, I feel shy that a living creature is looking at me whilst I'm eating and it's hungry and I don't give it something to eat. So Abdullah ibn Ja'far was surprised that he is so. He said, are you going to get some more roti? He said, no, this is my 2 times roti. I just fed him half of it. I'll see what happens tomorrow, next day. So Abdullah ibn Ja'far asked him, to whom you belong? And he said, I am the slave of the warithin and heirs of Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. So Hazrat Abdullah ibn Ja'far came to their house and he said that, you know that bagh of yours, sell me whatever price you ask, I'll pay you. They said, but it's a very nice bagh, but no, you have to sell it to me. They mentioned the price, he said, I've bought it. And then he said, you know the slave that works in there, I want to buy him as well. They said, no, we can't sell him. He's been with us since he was his childhood and he's a very nice person. You can't sell him. Said, no, you have to sell him to me. Name your price. They agreed. And he paid them the price. He came to that bagh and he said to the slave, I have purchased this bagh and I have purchased you as well. So he said, Allah Mubarak kare, may Allah bless you in your purchase, but I will be sad to leave my masters because they've been very kind to me. He said, well, now, since I've become your owner, I'm freeing you and I'm giving you this whole bagh as a gift for you. So it's yours now, you are the owner of this place. He said, Jazakallah, thank you very much. Since you are doing this, then I am also saying that this bagh and all its produce is waqf upon the inheritors of Usman radiyallahu anhu, his previous owners. It's waqf on their family, it's a trust for them. And Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu's waqf is still working, flowing. When you go to ziyarat, you will see that this building is waqf Usman. And whatever money comes from there, it goes into sadaqah, and the sawab is for Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. So, how generous Abdullah ibn Ja'far radiyallahu anhu, and the slave as well, how generous he is that he became the owner, but he made it waqf. He said, I don't want to keep it. Hazrat mentions this story. After that, Hazrat mentions another story of similar type. Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu. He was once passing by somewhere and he, camped down and they sat down to eat. They saw a shepherd at a distance. So he said to the khadim, call that shepherd, he can eat with us. So he went and called him. So he came with his goats. Said, sit down, eat with us. He said, no, I can't eat. He said, why? He said, I'm fasting. You are fasting, it's not Ramzan. And it's so hot today, and you are out here on the outskirts, under the roof of the sky, no shade over you, and you are fasting. And the shepherd replied, I am utilizing my al-ayyamul khaliyah. He was referring to the hadith of Surah Al-Haqqa, Kulu washrabu hani'am bima aslaftum fil ayyamil khaliyah. Khalidin, free days, free time. Utilize your free time. I am utilizing my free time. I have these days. I can fast in here. I'm fasting, so I get the ni'mats of Jannat for them in Akhirat, inshallah. We waste our free time watching movies. And over here he is utilizing his free time fasting, keeping roza. So Abdullah ibn Umar was surprised. He said, okay, if iftar time will come, you have this many goats, can you sell us one goat? and we will slaughter it, skin it, we will give you some meat as well, you can have it for your iftar. He said, I can't sell you the goat. He said, why? He said, I don't own them, I only look after them, they belong to someone else, I'm only a shepherd. So he said, but how is your owner or the owner of the sheep going to find out? You can just tell him that a wolf came and took one sheep away. He said, he said, your master is not here, he's not going to watch you, he's not going to find out. And he said, if my master is not here, then what about Allah? فَأَيْنَ اللَّهِ? Where is Allah? So Ibn Umar was really moved, he was shaken, he started saying, Ayn Allah, Ayn Allah, Ayn Allah, where is Allah? Allah is watching, Allah is looking. He came to Medina city and he inquired about that shepherd, and he went to the owners and purchased that shepherd and all the goats, and he came and he said, you are free and all these goats and this herd is yours, I give them to you. So this is the generosity of those people of that era. Hazrat then mentions some other stories of similar type. May Allah give us tawfiq to be generous like them. Once there was a famine in Egypt during the times when Abdul Hamid bin Sa'id rahmatullahi alayhi was the governor over there. Abdul Hamid said to himself, I shall show Shaitan that I am his enemy. He means I shall defy Shaitan, who prompts a person to spend very scrupulously in such circumstances. He makes him stingy and miserly. I'm not going to be stingy, I'm going to be generous and defeat Shaitan. He made an announcement that all the poor and needy ones of the country should come to the governor's house for their daily meals every day until the prices come down. So the needy persons continued to come and have meals with him at his house until the famine and drought passed away and things were available at normal prices. It so chanced that when prices were normalized, he was removed from his office. It was estimated that at the time of his departure from Egypt, he owed 1 million dirhams to the businessmen who had loaned money to him for feeding the poor during the times of famine. They came asking for their money, their debt. So he collected the zevarats and ornaments of the ladies of his family and pledged these with the businessman for the money he owed and kept them as security with them until he pays off the debt. The cost of these valuable jewelries given as pledge amounted to 500 million dirhams. Abdul Hamid rahmatullah later tried to redeem the pledged valuables and pay off the debt, but he could not raise enough money. So he wrote to those businessmen after some time, I authorize you to sell all the valuables lying in pledge with you as security, that you take out all your debts off from that money, and whatever balance is left, distribute that among the poor and needy ones of Egypt, those whom I could not help during my stay in Egypt. No less generous were the ladies of those times, who gave away their ornaments to be sold and distributed among the poor and the needy ones. So this is the governor. Imagine how generous he is. He opens his governor house and says all poor and needy must come here for daily meals until prices come down. And he falls into a debt of 1 million dirhams. But then when he's leaving, he's unable to pay the debt, so he gives all the jewelry which is worth 500 million. And he keeps it with security, keep this. He could have sold it, but maybe he was unable to do that, so he just left it as security. Then he wrote from wherever he was to the Tajirin businessman, you keep all the money, take your qaraz, and whatever is left, distribute it among the poor of Egypt. So these were the Salaf-e-Salihin and their Sakhawat. May Allah give us tawfiq to be generous like them. Hazrat also mentions, Abu Marsad Rahmatullah Ali was a famous, generous person. Once someone came and recited some verses of poetry in praise of his generosity. Now in those days when a person was praised, it was understood that he is seeking some favor. Abu Marsad Rahmatullah said to the man, look, at this moment I have nothing to give you, but I can help you by this scheme. If you file a lawsuit against me with the Qazi saying that I owe you 10,000 dirhams, I shall admit to the Qazi that yes, I owe you this money. Meaning, I am promising you now, and promise is something which is owed, because hadith says al-idatu daynun. So I owe you 10,000. The Qazi will send me to prison, and my family members will not let me stay in the prison. They will collect 10,000 and release me. You can take those 10,000 away, and that will be yours. The man did as he was directed. Abu Marsad was sent to prison, and his relatives raised the necessary amount of money to get his release, which they gave to the Qazi in the evening. Thus the man got 10,000 dirhams, and Abu Marsad Rahmatullah alayhi was released. Ajib, kaun karega aaj aisa? Hazrat Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, once someone came to him asking, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, look, I don't have anything at the moment, but you go to the market, so and so person, and take something from him, this much amount, and tell him when I get something I will pay off. It's a debt on me. So he took qaraz and debt to help a person. Hazrat Umar was sitting there. He said, Ya Rasulullah, Allah has not told you to do this. If you have, give. If you don't have, say no. You shouldn't do this, that take debt from someone, loan from someone to help someone, then that loan is on your shoulders, you have to pay it off, you have to worry about that loan. So Prophet ﷺ cringed a little bit. Another Ansari Sahabi realized this, and he said, Bala ya Rasulullah, anfiq, wala takhsha min dhil arshi iqlala. Why not, Ya Rasulullah? Keep spending. The Lord of the throne is not going to be poor, He'll pay your debt off. And his face started gleaming, shining. Yes, you've given me the right advice. This is what I will do. These are our Salafi-Salihin. May Allah give us a little bit of that generosity that we spend in the path of Allah, on those who are needy, on our friends, on our relatives, on our family members, on our kids. Give them lots of Eid. Kids get happy with Eid. Give them Eid, and inshallah they'll get happy. Allah